out tangibly in the world. It wasn't even about how well will the book do. The fact that I had completed something helped me cross that divide from strategist to creative. And I thought, oh, yes, I've made something tangible in the world. And now I have that curiosity of what else can I make?
This is going to be an exciting chapter for you.
I am so excited. After I have crossed the ocean of fear, there definitely was the long goodbye and grieving of my former life. And I recommend to anyone making a big transition that you make space for that. Don't jump in, because it will grab you by surprise. It's going to come. And so making space for that is so important. And then the messiness of the unpredictability of what's next. Will this bet pay off? Meeting that messiness is also another important phase. And then you start to see the threads of new beginnings, and that's really exciting.
You are amazing, my friend. We have a bunch of people that want to ask you a question, and very appropriately, our first one is Bruce Shutan in Portland. So,
Portland!
You never know; he could be your neighbor.
I know.
And if he is, I hope he's a good neighbor.
So, Bruce. Bonnie, I actually reached out to Bonnie, and I'll refresh your memory. A couple of weeks ago, I'm going to get an in real life meetup together, organizing in Portland. That's me. And we have a couple of other Portlanders here in Portlandia. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Like you, I'm also an LA refugee who came up here. This is the new, Portland is the new promised land. And for anyone who's ever seen Portlandia, the first episode was kind of like that. But anyway, it'll be great. We're going to try and do this in late July.
That's right.
We have a handful of others in the area too. So I'm thrilled to be able to do this and to be on your call. I couldn't miss the call, of course. So my question, Bonnie, what was your favorite branding campaign? Among all the many ones that you did, and why was that the case?
Oh my gosh, there are so many. I'll name two. One's a little dark, so I'll start with the light one, which is Got Milk. That's the campaign that built our agency. And the reason I love that campaign so much is it's built on a human insight. And that's what I pride myself on in strategy. I did not come up with the original strategy for Got Milk, but it's so brilliant that I think it really was an inspiration for my entire career. And that insight is that people don't think about milk until it's gone. And hence the question, got milk, which is grammatically incorrect, but that's what makes it stick in people's minds. And then the storytelling was so brilliant because we knew there were certain moments in life that you can't have a Coke with, that you can't do with water. It's only milk. So that's cereal, a Hostess cupcake, a rich peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It just doesn't sound right to have a Coke and a PB&J. I'm sure people do it, but it was really understanding what made people salivate when they think about milk, but they don't think about it because it's a commodity until they run out of it and they want to eat their cereal. They want to eat that cupcake, So I love that. And it was so playful in all the ways they expressed it. We expressed it. I also loved a lot of the cause work we worked on. We did racial inequality, gender inequality, child sex trafficking. That was really dark, but was also so human insight oriented. I love looking at really complex issues and finding very simple paths through the complexity. In Portland, Nike Foundation has one of my all-time favorite pieces of work for the girl effect, which is looking at such a big issue like poverty. How do you affect poverty? That is just so paralyzing and overwhelming. But what they found is in Africa, if you can keep girls, young teenage girls, from getting pregnant before, if you can keep them from getting pregnant before they get their high school diploma and then their first job or their first pay, then you can really slow down and eventually stop of poverty. Because once girls see the empowerment they have with an education and the joy of seeing their own financial opportunity, then they will take the steps to delay, because teenage pregnancy is what fuels the cycle of poverty. When kids have kids, they aren't equipped, then they have to lean on other resources in order to raise their children. So, I love looking at complex problems through the strategic simplicity.
Sounds like your follow-up book.
Interesting. Yeah, there you go. Bonnie, the Got Milk campaign, I'm just curious, something that becomes as iconic as that, because I mean, down the road, I don't think you guys did this initially, but down the road, there were lots of celebrities used with the Got Milk, and that seemed to be kind of like maybe a new trend. But when something that becomes iconic like that is birthed, like, is it just somebody sitting in a meeting, like, boom, they get a light bulb moment and they blurt that out? Or is it like a collaborative process, or is it different every time?
It's always a team sport. Creativity is a team sport. And that's what I love so much about the industry. And now I get to do it with clients and in client orgs, which is also really fun because that's where the sausage is made. But, it's like someone always delivers an assist before someone else can score the goal or make the slam dunk, So it really is when you're in the sandbox together and you're brainstorming and a strategist says, what we've learned in the focus groups is that people get really angry, really frustrated when they run out of milk just when they need it. It ruins the whole morning if you can't have your cereal, And then the creatives think, oh, okay, let's play with those situations. What are all the situations where you can't replace with water, Coke, and then you start brainstorming. They say, oh, it'd be funny if we did a script about Alexander Hamilton and, the history. So the creatives just go into these wild, absurd, ridiculous places, and you want them to, because that's where you play with ideas. And then they start playing with language and lines, and it's just like strategists too. And in the life brief, you play with language to say what gives you that fuck yes feeling. Because they could have wrote, are you out of milk?
Yep.
Want some milk? They could have just said, hey, you're going to be angry if you don't have it. But they chose a phrase that was just awkward enough to be really, really sticky. Got milk. And they delivered it in a voice that was so low and baritone and beautiful. And then they said it in a beautiful font, all lowercase with the question mark that became iconic. And it's just, I guess, in the creative sandbox, all the people bring all the pieces that then gel. And it's continues to be one of the most famous taglines of all time in advertising, along with Just Do It.
Yeah, it's been used in different iterations, which is cool. Lindsay Rios, you're up.
All right. You killed me right there with the milk thing, because sheer anger would definitely be occurring in our household if we were out of milk with my youngest. That kid, it's like when someone has to have their coffee in the morning as an adult.
Oh,
that kid, if you did not, like the moment he woke up, if you didn't let him sit there and drink his milk, don't talk to him, don't like nothing. So like that.
I hear you. I have 4 kids. I get
That
it.
was, yeah. So that rang true. But my question was, this is kind of speaking to being an Asian woman, or just Asian in general, because I am one. How pleasantly surprised I am with how in touch you seem to be emotionally. You talk about all this naked honesty and vulnerability, which is extra difficult for an Asian cult, someone from an Asian background. So I'm so curious to figure out how you like tapped into that.
Thank you for asking that. And I saw you were in the corner of my grid the entire time. So I had a question about your background.
Oh, is it?
No, your face.
Me. Oh, okay. Everyone always wants to know about the.
I mean your ethnicity and your background.
Yeah, Rios is just my married name. Don't get confused.
I talk a lot about that in my book. That in the 8th grade, so I immigrated when I was 6 from Taipei, Taiwan, and I didn't know the language at all. I felt like a real outsider for most of my elementary school years. And the gift of being an outsider is I got to really study how the inside works. Because when you're on the periphery, you just watch. And I realized I had that fascination in what makes people tick at a really early age. And I saw the extroverts, the girls that had the big personalities, the confidence, they got all the people around them, and they got lots of people to do what they wanted. They just went for it. And I found that fascinating. And in 8th grade, I made a decision. I still remember it as if it was yesterday, on the blacktop during recess, that I'm not going into high school as the shy brown girl in the corner anymore. I'm not going to do that. And I think in a way that was my first fuck yes clarity life brief. I made that decision, and I wasn't. By the time I got into high school, by the time I came out of high school, I was ASB president, homecoming princess, prom queen, varsity soccer player. But it wasn't until 2020 that I realized I had this guilt by assimilation. I realized that decision to assimilate and become big at first was a survival mechanism, but then it became my path to achievement. And in 2020, I was gripped by all the ways I had traded off my heritage and who I was as a Chinese American immigrant, and all the ways I had forsaken my family and some of our traditions. And I was embarrassed of my mom's cooking and smelling like it. And I hid. I asked my parents never to speak to me in Mandarin in front of my friends. All these things came rushing out. So I think it was a gift in that I became a forced extrovert. And I know how to communicate now because I've honed it over so many years. But I'm still at the end of the day, a shy introvert who loves to spend time, reading and in really deep, one-on-one kind of time and communications. So I think there's gifts and curses that came out of that for me.
Yeah, thank you. Resonate a lot.
Yeah. And then this whole practice of what do you want goes against every cultural cell in my body,
right,
which is you put society first, your family first, everyone first. And in Asian culture, if you're a woman, you're pretty much
doesn't matter
dead
what you
body.
want.
It does not. So people often ask me, this is a very selfish practice, right? And I think it is a very self-centered practice. And I mean that literally. you are centered in yourself. And when we are centered in ourselves, it's different than selfish or self-absorbed. But when we are centered in ourselves, we actually end up serving everyone around us in a more generous and beautiful way. Because at the end of the day, what we all really want is to belong, is to see and be seen, is to have deep, rich connection. And that's my wealth brief, to be rich in relationship. And so I don't believe it's a selfish question at all to ask, what do you really want?
Love it. We're going to go to Eva Simone. You are our cleanup hitter, I think.
Hi, thank you so much, and hopefully you can hear me on your side. I'm sitting here and I feel like my skin, I have goosebumps everywhere just listening to your voice, Bonnie. Your voice is like, you're the second woman who's ever done this to me, where you get under my skin so beautifully. It's like it's wrapped. The first thing you wrapped me like silk. You're wrapping me like a beautiful cloud. And I'm so grateful for all that you're saying. I think I've been clapping the entire time that you've been talking. It's so beautiful to hear and to really not just hear you, but feel you in my soul. A lot of times, we as women, we don't get to that place. And I just want to give you a virtual hug for sharing.
We're doing it. It's happening.
Your story. It's so beautiful. I don't really have a big question. I just wanted to bow to you right now and just to give you the grace and the honor that you need as a woman. I'm just like so happy in this moment. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. I'm feeling it back at you. It's mutual.
Yes, thank you.
I love this crew.
Mm-hmm.
Just such a great, eclectic group of human beings that are all like-hearted, not like-minded, but like-hearted, and it's beautiful to see.
Yeah.
When you think of the word outlier, what do you think?
I think open and honest. I think what I've experienced from all the outliers is that they have the courage to put themselves out there in that nakedly honest way, that they don't feel inhibited to be enthusiastic about themselves or about other people. There's such a generosity and a embrace, to use Eva's language, an embrace of human connection, an embrace of other people, no matter how different they are from themselves. So I think this is a community that is really built on open-heartedness and curiosity. And of course, enthusiasm.
I love it. Well, this has been so much fun. Do you have any final words of wisdom that you want to share before we go?
Yeah. I think it's never been more urgent or important for each one of us to unlock and step into the fullness of our truths, because that is the power we have from within in a time where there's a lot of institutions fixated on having power over us. But our power comes from within. And when we exercise that, and when we see that we have more agency than we have been conditioned to believe, then we get to reimagine what community and life can look like. And we are all creators of that through our own lives.
Beautiful. Bonnie, thank you so much for sharing your story and yourself with us. You always make me smile. And I just appreciate you so much. Guys, buy the book. Make sure you leave an Amazon review. It means everything to authors. And just continue to support Bonnie. She's a member, and she's been a tremendous help to me and to Kathy and Jess in just thinking through kind of who we are and what our story is and what we're all about. And she's just so talented. So thank you, Bonnie. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Scott, for creating this amazing community. It is life quenching.
Thank you.